Okay, perfect. Hi, welcome everyone. This is the second of our education series for Local 571. Today we are presenting on the MPTF funding and how you can get funding for public concerts. My name is Julia. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the Director of Operations for the Atlantic Federation of Musicians. I will be doing most of the presentation today, and then I'm going to pass it along to Andrew and Sean to say a couple words near the end. David, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, my name is, hello everybody, first of all, and good morning. My name is David Owen. I'm the president of the Atlantic Federation of Musicians. I'm a come from away guy, having moved here from Western Canada about 3 years ago now. Professional oboe player by background, opera, symphony, music theater, all sorts of things like that. So welcome everybody. I'm sure you'll find this presentation interesting. I mean, it's just such a great source of funding for people who want to put on concerts, free public events. So I hope that everybody is able to take advantage of this source. Okay.
Thanks, David. We'll move to Andrew and then Sean. Just a brief introduction of yourselves, please.
Thanks, Julia. I guess my name's Andrew Cox. I'm the Senior Civic Events Coordinator with the Halifax Regional Municipality, and I've been here for a while, as Peggy would know. It's, I guess one of our roles is to work with a variety of different, entertainers, programmers, groups, organizations to bring free municipal events and programming to the city. And one of the groups we've worked with for many years is the Atlantic Federation of Musicians Local. At least, I've been involved since the early 90s with the AFM. Currently, at this time, for me, it represents a couple of significant days that we do the 4th, and potentially the other one is a Dartmouth Open Streets event that we do on the Dartmouth side on the Ferry Terminal Park on the 22nd of June. So those are, a kind of the partnerships that I've had with the AFM. Simply, put, that's, what our role is.
Thanks, Andrew. And Sean?
Hi, thanks for the introduction. I'm Sean Street. I go by he, him. I'm the horticulture supervisor of the public gardens in Halifax. I've been in this role for 4 years, but we work with civic events because we have our venue within the public gardens and the bandstand that many people know and love. We do a concert series in here. So I've been involved with the AFM for the last 4 years, looking for artists to get as broad of a representation of cultures that might appeal to the public who want to use our space as an opportunity to be heard.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. And then I will begin my presentation at the beginning. Here we go. And can everyone see the full-size screen? I just get a verbal confirmation.
Yes.
Yep, looks good.
Yeah, good for me.
Okay, thank you. All right, so as I said, this is the second in our education series, the MPTF funding. Like I said, I'm Julia, and my email is there at the bottom. If you want to email me after with any questions or anything, you're more than welcome. So first I wanted to cover what the MPTF is. It's kind of this organization that is based out of New York that provides funding, and it is in partnership with the American Federation of Musicians. So we're not affiliated necessarily, but we work together. And every local of the American Federation of Musicians receives funds on a yearly basis. and they're allocated to each local to use as they see fit. And the locals are responsible for applying for and dispersing the funds. This is MPTF's 75th anniversary video. It's just 2 minutes. I thought it gave a really great overview of their mission and everything. So let me know if this doesn't play properly, but I'm pretty sure I set it up so it should.
The Recording Industry's Music Performance Trust Fund provides grants to pay professional musicians to play admission-free events for school programs, senior centers, and assisted living facilities, and at parks and public spaces throughout the United States and Canada. Our mission is to enrich the lives of the public, young and old, through music, and to contribute to the public's knowledge and appreciation for music. The MPTF has provided our resources to make music in communities large and small throughout North America for 75 years. Live music brings communities together. It expands learning in schools. It embraces the well-being over our senior population. It champions diversity and interaction. Community events bring streets alive and stimulates local commerce. It creates interaction. It enhances our culture and traditions. The Recording Industry's Music Performance Trust Fund provides the financial resources for members of the American Federation of Musicians to offer their services to their community. Each year, our goal is to provide funding for over 4,000 admission-free live music events. We will support over 500 Music in the Schools events, over 1,200 performances in senior centers and assisted living facilities, and over 2,000 concerts in parks and public spaces. We partner with business organizations, chambers of commerce, arts councils, municipal government organizations, and parks programs. We are funded by the major record companies, including Sony Music, Universal Music Group, the Warner Music Group, and Disney. Ask the local union office of the American Federation of Musicians how to bring our resources to your community.
And that's that.
The Recording Industry's Music Performance Trust Fund provides grants to pay.
Not again. We don't need it again. All right, awesome. So before applying for these funds, I thought I'd go over a couple points that are provided by the MPTF of what are these funds used for and what are the main types of concerts that they are funding. So there are two big things that we want the concerts to be. And that's firstly that the performance is free and open to the public. And the second thing is that music is the prime purpose for the audience to be at a particular place at a particular time. So essentially, these are the things that the concert should not be. It's not for any occasion, which music is not the main attraction. So that's pretty much the first point, or the second point that I went over there previously. So we want music to be the main attraction. We don't want it to be in support of any particular political party, religion, or club. So anywhere that would have an exclusive audience and keep people from attending for a variety of reasons. And thirdly, we don't want it to be for any commercial purposes. So essentially, there shouldn't be any ticket sales, merch sales, fundraising, or donations for any particular causes. And we want there to be an element of public interest or service involved, like the video mentioned. It's to expand the public's appreciation for live music. And if it's a school event, we want it to be for educational purposes. So it shouldn't be for anything like a school dance or graduation. Those are specifically for education purposes. And lastly, the main purpose should not be to promote new works of a composer or composers. All right, moving on. So there are 4 general categories of concerts when it comes to the MPTF, and I'm going to go over them briefly, and just know that these numbers for the funding, it changes every year, but these are based on this previous fiscal year's numbers, so they're subject to change. So first of all, we have the performances in seniors' homes, which was mentioned in the video. So this is colloquially referred to as Musician Fest, so we can use those kind of interchangeably. And these concerts are generally 100% funded. And they're coordinated with usually the activities director of the residence, who will be acting as a co-sponsor. And then we have the performances in schools, which I mentioned should be for educational purposes. So it should be education centered, and as well as a live music performance. These are usually 50 to 100% funded. Again, it depends on the event itself. And it's coordinated with the schools, who are acting as a co-sponsor here. And I will just take a second to define what a co-sponsor is. So it's the entity that is responsible for the other portion of the funding. So say your school program got approved for 50% funding, then the school itself would provide the other 50% of the funding. And then we have our general co-funded concerts, which can take place in any public location. So we have, for example, the Public Gardens series, right? So the Public Gardens is a public location that anyone can access. And these are generally 30 to 50% funded. And the co-sponsor, like I defined previously, would be responsible for the other portion of the funding for the concert. And then we have the special events category. So these change from year to year. They're generally 100% funded. And then on the next slide, I will show you the ones that took place in the previous fiscal year. So these are the special events from 2024-25. Generally, they remain the same, but are subject to change from year to year. And these are specifically the Canadian ones, since it's an American and Canadian funding source. So we have Emancipation Day, which is August 1st, and it's generally a couple days before and after that are also applicable for that celebration. Women's History Month, which is a whole month. Black History Month, which is also a whole month. And then we have the International Women's Day celebration on March 8th. And then lastly, the Jazz Appreciation Month, which again lasts for a whole month. So lots of special events to take advantage of the 100% funding. And please note, we always have to say this, that we have limited funds, right? The MPTF gives us an allocation. So we have an MPTF committee that will determine where our allocation goes and which programs get particularly funded. And we're actually currently looking for committee members. So if you yourself feel interested in putting your opinion forward of which events we feel like how much we should weight each event in terms of our allocation of our funds, we would love to have your input. Okay, so how does it work? I know it sounds great. All this free money is what I call it. So here's a sample timeline. So this would be if you were kind of pioneering this project by yourself, how would you do this? And this is kind of a sample timeline. So 4 weeks before your anticipated concert date, this is what you would do. You would contact the office, so me, and ask for the availability of funds. And then you would also ask for the application package if there are funds available to fund your concert. And then you would need to get in touch with your co-sponsor and kind of inform them of what MPTF is all about. Sometimes it's a little bit, it freaks people out a little bit to hear, oh, there's funding for concerts. And so people are a little bit suspicious. So we ask that you inform your co-sponsor really well so that they're all on the same page about what it is that we're doing. After that, oh, sorry. First, I wanted to go through what the application package is all about. It's very straightforward. Essentially, you'll be asked the date, time, location of your concert, the category. So is it a school concert? Is it in a senior's home? Is it the general co-funded concerts? What concert category are we in? I'd ask you to estimate your attendance for the concert. And then we'd like 2 sentences just describing the goal of the concert for the application purposes. Your musical genre, what you're playing, and then as well as your budget. So that would include the scale rate, which is what MPTF funds, any pension contributions, cartage, if you charge GST, etc. So a base budget to put forward. And then 3 weeks before your concert date, so this is once we said, yes, there is funding for you, you would submit your application to me, and then I submit it on behalf of you to the MPTF. And then the co-sponsor is asked to sign some terms and conditions, which is just to say that they'll abide by the MPTF rules. It's just one page, very simple. And then you want to finalize the payments details with the co-sponsor as well. And then 1 week before your concert date, we'll let you know if your application was successful. And then we ask that you add the MPTF logos to your promo materials, just so everyone knows that this is where we got our money from and to help support the MPTF visibility wise. And then on your concert date, you just want to have your co-sponsor sign a live performance contract. That's what LPC stands for. And then perform, do what you do best, and enjoy the concert. And then one day after the concert happens, we'd ask that you let us know that it went as planned, so we can report that to the MPTF, and then the funding gets in motion after that. And then you would also submit your live performance contract, which is signed, your work dues, and any pension payments that are going along with this to us, and then we'll take it from there. And then after, so remember I mentioned that you have to let us know that the concert went okay. We will report that to MPTF. If there were any changes, we need to know about that. And then the check will get sent to the co-sponsor, and then they will pay you out of that. So that's our timeline. And that previous timeline was specifically for concerts that I said you were doing by yourself or with a small group of people. Then we also have our concert series, which Andrew and Sean will talk to you briefly about later. So there's a bit of a different application process when we have partnerships, when the Atlantic Federation of Musicians partners with other groups as the co-sponsor. So the different application process goes like this. So as with the Public Gardens series, with HRM as our co-sponsor or our partner, we will put out a call for musicians by email. You will respond to the call, hopefully, and then the MPTF committee will determine those selected alongside the partner organization. So we determine what our vision is, and then we select the groups from there. And then this is a bit different, but it doesn't really matter to the musicians too much. But payment goes through the local as opposed to the co-sponsor in this case. So you'll get paid from us rather than from the co-sponsor. And just a little sneak peek that this summer's Public Garden Series call will be going out very shortly by the end of March, by the end of this month, along with one other series that we have in the works. So far we have 2 series that we're working on for this season. So we have the Public Garden Series and then one other one that you should keep an eye on your email for. And that is it. If you have any questions, you can ask them now. Happy to answer them. Or my email is in the bottom left corner there that you can also reach out anytime if there are questions that come up after. So I'll stop sharing for now and open the floor if anyone has any questions at the moment. But otherwise, I will pass it on to Andrew and Sean.
Julia, I have a question.
Please.
So, you know that I'm here wearing my Concerts and Care hat. We mostly work with AFM musicians, but not all. I find a lot of singers don't belong to the AFM, for example. Are we eligible to include musicians who are not AFM members?
Good question. Yes.
Okay. That's straightforward.
Easy, right?
Yeah, the other thing is in your example when you were talking about the timeline with the co-sponsored performances, But what if it's not a co-sponsored performance? Is it a similar application process?
Yeah, so it would be, sorry to cut you off. Was there something else?
Yep. No, that's
That's
good.
it. Okay, great. Yeah, so it's a little bit funny with the seniors' homes concerts because it is fully funded, but they are acting as the co-sponsor, right? So it is actually exactly the same. So the co-sponsor, basically what that means is one, they pay the other portion, but if there's no other portion to pay, then they receive the check from MPTF and then they pay the musicians from there. So there's two parts to the co-sponsor role. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions at the moment? Okay, we will pass it along to Andrew and Sean just to talk about the summer series that we have coming up.
Thanks, Julia. Andrew, you okay if I speak first? Sure. So yeah, thanks for having us to talk to you guys. We certainly haven't had face-to-face like this with too many people in the past. But it's a really good point to sort of start a new relationship, a new connection with the AFM, because I understand you've got new leadership. And there's a lot of people that are curious for what these opportunities are for funding. It from our side of it, just to give you a view, it works really well for us because Andrew and I we're working with public funds for the public. So we're limited in how much we can invest in these performances, and the AFM basically subsidizes what we can bring to the public. So it's a symbiotic relationship, and it's an opportunity for artists who maybe wouldn't otherwise be hired for these shows to get an opportunity to play in front of people. But we're looking to cast as wide a net as we can for artists to come to us and come to the AFM saying that they want to take advantage of these. So the series that we have, what we're offering as a venue and what we're trying to fill, it's 16 concerts from the middle of June until the end of September in the public gardens. And then Andrew also has 2 concerts that he does. One's for the natal day. Well, it's in the public gardens too, but it's on natal day, and that's outside of my purview. And then there's a downtown, the waterfront concert in Dartmouth. I believe that's at Alderney Landing that's performed. Is that right, Andrew? Is that at Alderney? That's a big event too. So we have the opportunity.
It's a Ferry Terminal Park.
Ferry Terminal Park. Okay. Oh, sure. And on the other side of the terminal. Sure. Anyways, so we have what we think is an appealing venue. There's some limitations in the public gardens. Namely, the bandstand doesn't have a PA, so we're always looking for bands or artists who are self-sufficient, who can come to us ready to perform. And we don't have a guaranteed number, but it could be a huge number of people depending on the weather, what time of the summer it is. But it's a huge opportunity. Sometimes the lawns are just full of people. We allow them just for that day to put down a blanket, bring a lawn chair. And there's a long history of this in the public gardens. It goes back decades of people getting up and dancing, moving benches out of the way so that they can have some space to do it. Just really enjoying themselves in the public gardens, and it's a great opportunity to bring different types of people together for these music performances. So we like having as diverse of curation of artists as we can. So this right now is an opportunity for us to basically explain what it is that the partnership means to us, hoping that people reach out to the AFM to see these opportunities. Because if it wasn't a subsidized funding opportunity, they just wouldn't be able to happen. We'd have to do less of them to be able to afford the artists. So the fact that we have 16 shows that we can do, there's really a lot of opportunity to have a lot of different types of people performing. Andrew, did you have anything that you wanted to add from your side of it?
No, I think the only thing that I'll reiterate that you talked about is that I guess one of the differences between the relationship that maybe the AFM has had with HRM is that we have a specific budget that we set aside to support some AFM concerts and artists, and it is more or less what it is. So the co-sponsorship has usually circled in around about 50% from the MPTF and 50% from the municipality. But the irony is we start with a capped budget that I've set for that period of concerts at the beginning. So if it's $50 that the city has, then we try to actually have $100 artist, where we maximize the output of that budget with both ends, bringing together a music performance that completes the budget. So that in many ways, for me, in the couple events I've done, I've sort of taken the recommendations from the AFM as to what the type of genre of music or type of music I want to do, and the type of audience I'm trying to attract, and what might be available within the price point that the budgets permit.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Sean and Andrew. And to that end, what you were just mentioning, Andrew, to look to us for the recommendations. That's why we're setting up the MPTF committee, because David's new, I'm new. We want to kind of get to know our members a little bit more. So if we have people who are experienced in this world and can offer that insight, that's so valuable to us. And so we're really trying to reach out to people and get their perspectives, people who have been in the industry for a long time, just so we have a wide range of music that we can offer. Any other things to add, Andrew, Sean, or David? That's it, that's all? Okay. I will take space for any other questions that we might have, but otherwise, quick and easy.
Do you know, Julia, when you'll...
Maybe I'll just ask, Peggy, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you know when you'll be receiving your funding allocation, or you're still waiting?
So MPTF's fiscal year starts May 1st, and usually we get the funding allocation letter by the end of March. We haven't received it yet, so we're waiting patiently.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Could I ask if there are any other partners besides HRM, like any other MPTF partners? Like I know the seniors' homes maybe, but
Yeah, so we have one other series that's coming up soon, and that call will go out on the last day of the month, so very soon. In terms of other co-sponsors, that's free for our members to explore. We don't have any designated co-sponsors, but if our members are finding people, of course, the seniors' homes are what would be the co-sponsor for the Musician Fest. But if there are places that are wanting to hire musicians, but maybe they can't afford the full fee that people would normally charge, this is a perfect opportunity for the MPTF funds to come in. And we are looking at expanding the partnerships. We're going from one from HRM to two this year, so we're already on the right track there. But
Great.
We're working on our community liaisons at the moment. Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
And Julia, the places where the concerts can happen, they're not just HRM, are they anywhere within the local 571?
Yeah, anywhere within our jurisdiction. Yep.
Okay.
I will also mention that it seems sometimes like the wording makes it seem like it has to be open to the public, right? Like anyone can kind of walk in type thing. That's actually not the case. Some events you can do, limited capacity if it's in an indoor space. That can work as well. So of course we're not charging admission, but if you have people register for the capacity of the building, that also works. It just has to be free and accessible to anyone that wishes to come.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Any other lingering thoughts? Okay, well, feel free to email me if there are any other questions that you happen to have. I'll stop the recording now.